folks. Just getting the technology set up over here. Okay. I think Twitter should be live. Excellent. YouTube seems to be live. Check that link out. And LinkedIn. Going live right now. Okay. Great stuff. So let me just share a few of these. Last minute pre-Christmas live stream. Come join me. Tweet that. Make sure LinkedIn is doing its thing. Looks like it is. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah, great. Here we are. I think we're up and running. Lovely. All right. Hi, everyone. Will Critchlow here. This is the last SearchPilot live stream before the Christmas break, and it's not at the usual time, and there was less warning about this one, I'm afraid, because I had some last-minute travel at the beginning of the week, but I didn't want to miss a week. I wanted to kind of keep the streak going and keep running these. So I thought I'd dress up for this one as well. So this by the way, is a full Santa onesie. And I thought we'd get into the festive spirit, because today I wanted to talk about that most festive of subjects: compliance, security, and some things I've learned from implementing advanced security controls really early on in a startup's life. It's be useful to some folks, and maybe give you some context as well if you're at a big enterprise and you're ever considering SearchPilot. InfoSec and compliance is going to be one of the big things that we have to end up talking about, and so it's one of our favorite topics. And I thought this might help give some folks some context as well. So I often talk about how with SearchPilot I'm not a second-time founder, but I'm maybe something like a 1.5-time founder. SearchPilot spun out of my first company, Distilled, and we've definitely focused this time around on making different mistakes, I guess. And we knew very early on when we were building the tool that would become the company, SearchPilot, that because we typically deploy right into our customers' web stack, I can't take myself seriously like this. Okay, there we go. That's still not super serious, but there we go. Because we typically deploy right into our customers' web stack, typically we're a layer inside their CDN, the content delivery network. And because our customers run large mission-critical websites, we knew we would have to take security and certification more seriously than your average startup from really early on. Very small team, early company. So very early on, we had to make sure that we were assessed as a service provider under PCI DSS level 1. That ensures that we could service e-commerce websites that handle credit card information. We got ISO27001 certified, which is similar to SOC 2 certification, which involves building out all kinds of processes, systems, and controls for all areas of our information systems. As part of that process, we also get regular automated scans done of our systems and undergo regular third-party penetration tests. And there's a ton of work for a team of our size, but it's one of the highest priority things that we do, because not only do we care deeply about our customers' resilience and security, but we also need to comply with a whole raft of regulations from GDPR, CCPA, all kinds of other stuff. Oh, while we're talking acronyms, we also took the opportunity to ensure that we're HIPAA compliant, which means that we can also provide services to US healthcare companies. And this is going to be a fairly short one today, but I thought I'd talk a little bit today about some of the things that we've learned doing this kind of quite heavyweight, externally audited compliance in a relatively small company, and how we kind of bake that into our ways of working. One of the things that we've done is, and this was also driven by the move during COVID, of where we ended up quite distributed and everybody had to be able to work remotely, but we've always had teams on different time zones and different offices anyway. But we bake right into our core values some of the ways that we wanted to be able to work in this kind of environment, which has definitely helped with this compliance approach as well. One of the things that we do is take an approach of, this is a bit aspirational, but write everything down. We write things down for ourselves, for our colleagues, for our teammates, and our future selves, quite critically. And I think this is the combination of those things has led to some lessons, some things I feel like we've learned about how to manage continuous improvement, especially if those things that are important but maybe not urgent. I mean, some InfoSec stuff is urgent; it comes up in crises and things, but a lot of it is important but not urgent in the sense of today, tomorrow, this week, next week. And one of the things that we found, I've actually found really useful, which sounds super heavyweight in a small company, and came out of the ISO work, is to form a steering group for anything in that category. So something that's important, but not got its own external super urgent deadlines. Form a steering group. This sounds like overkill in a small company, but it comes out of that idea of getting a small group of people who are going to meet on a regular cadence, but not too often. Monthly or quarterly works pretty well, and just review the progress rather. And if you run that process in a grown-up, somewhat structured way, right? You have minutes, you have actions, you have reviews of last time's actions, you keep track of all those things. This is kind of antithesis to startup culture. It feels like, but it's been so effective for this kind of stuff, where it often cross cuts across teams. It's not just necessarily one individual who can own the whole thing. It is maybe nobody's day job. Some of these things don't have a single owner, and by having that cadence of meeting, it forces the work to get done. A surprising amount happens in the meeting, which feels like cheating, but is actually just the process totally working, in my opinion. And certainly an awful lot happens in like the 24 hours before the meeting. If you want to be able to show up to the meeting and say you did your actions from last time, doing them just before you walk in the room counts. And this cadence of accountability has worked really well for that. And it's great for making time to do those things, to dot those I's and cross those T's. And I mean, certainly compared to the first startup time around in Distilled, I think we are way better at documenting things this time around. This is obviously an auto documenting process. And one of the things that we've done as well, which I'm quite liking, and we've set up a steering group to manage actually, is that we've been rolling out root cause analysis to the whole business. So root cause analysis, this RCA concept, this is like other times called a retrospective or blame-free process. And it's something that's often done in engineering. We've done it in engineering for a long time. Sometimes it produces customer-facing documents, but sometimes it's just so that you can improve your own process. And the idea is that you dig in to get to the root cause whenever anything's gone wrong. So something goes wrong, whether it's customer-facing or not, mistakes happen. People make mistakes and things go wrong and outside factors come into play. But by digging into that root cause and then assigning the actions to fix the root cause wherever possible, we're gradually fixing those things, gradually reducing the set of things that can go wrong. And through doing this, I really hope that we can build a kind of radically resilient organization. As I say, it's baked into how engineering is often thought, but we're doing it across all areas of the business. And I would definitely, it's something I wish I'd done earlier. I'd encourage other folks who are building startups to think in this way. It can feel onerous, but I think it's one of those cases where by working to continually fix these things as you go along, you end up actually with it taking less of your time, because you don't end up having to try and tackle the same fires, the same problems over and over again. And it's behind the processes of why things like air travel have become as safe as they have, is through the same kind of processes. So yeah, I just wanted to, that was some of the brainstorming I wanted to kind of ramble about today a little bit, I guess, was some of the ways that we've brought those compliance and certification processes into a small business, some of the things that we've learned that help us in day-to-day operations. If you want to stay up to date and I'm going to be doing some more fun ones of these. Probably not quite the same costume, but some more conversations, some more SEO-centric ones. You can follow me. I'm at Will Critchlow on Twitter. You can follow SearchPilot at SearchPilot. Head to searchpilot.com to get on our email list. And if you're interested in seeing the SearchPilot platform in action, so if you're responsible for a large website looking to do SEO testing, then head over to searchpilot.com/live, where you can request a demo of SearchPilot and get access to a whole bunch of resources and other kind of useful information that will give you more context. Before we wrap up today, I thought I'd just mention a couple of cool new features that we have live or coming soon. So the first one's live for our customers already. We have Googlebot tracking data. So because we are typically deployed on the server side, as I mentioned, then we get to see Googlebot requests as well. And what that means is that when we come into running tests, it's particularly useful for inconclusive tests where we can't yet tell if something's going to be positive or negative. If something's an inconclusive test, one of the questions you might want to ask is how much of this test has been recrawled since the test was launched, because until Google sees the change, then of course it's going to be inconclusive. And so now we have this section of Googlebot crawl insights where you scroll down below the main charts and you get to see how many of the pages in the variant section, so how many pages we've changed, have been recrawled since the test was launched. And we can see that either by, my favorite is by sessions, so weighted by how important those pages are. But we can also see the raw number of pages, which is typically smaller. There's often a long tail of very small pages that haven't been recrawled yet. Or if we want to really dig into this analysis, we can download the data as CSV and dig into the raw data. So that's a pretty cool feature that's live for most of our customers right now. And we're shipping new features at, I think, the best rate we ever have. So we've got some great stuff coming. Google Search Console integration, which allows for debugging of why a particular test is a winner or a loser. So this will enable us to dig in once you've got a conclusive test from analytics data, to be able to dig in and try and understand, is this because of changes to click-through rate, changes to rankings, both, or I guess the other possibility is new rankings or lost rankings. And we're excited to get that in our customers' hands. But I think also we've discovered through the work that these are terrible metrics on their own. And I'll probably do a whole session on that at some point, talking about why Search Console metrics are useful for debugging, but not for primary test tracking and measurement. Data's too sparse and too easy to get misled. Finally, I thought I'd mention that we have a new Cloudflare Worker version of SearchPilot. So we've got, this works cross-platform on CDNs with EdgeWorker technologies. Anyone who's got that kind of compatibility, and means we can deploy natively into the edge, which brings a range of benefits, including some of the stuff that we were talking about earlier in InfoSec and engineering and operations. So if you are running one of those modern CDNs like a Cloudflare, then get in touch if that's been a blocker for you, because we'd love to work with you on that as well. So final reminder, if you're interested in SEO testing, seeing a demo of SearchPilot, head on over to searchpilot.com/live. And this whole thing's a bit of an experiment. In the new year, they're going to be scheduled, so you'll know when to expect these calls, and you can plan to come on them, get a reminder and so forth. But I'd love to hear your feedback. What do you like? What do you not like? What do you want to hear about? Sometimes I might even bring a guest on. So there won't be a live stream next week, because I am going to be eating turkey leftovers. But I will look forward to seeing you all in January. Take it easy.